For a generation, the roar was unmistakable. It was more than an engine. It was the promise that your car could actually run. In a country where having a fast car was almost a dream and domestic cars seemed to be born tired, an acronym became the cry of freedom: AP, High Performance. This engine block, which according to legends saved Volkswagen in Brazil and to this day is the ultimate symbol of resilience for tuners. You drove and it didn't break. But after all, why did the engine that was born back in the 1970s become our myth of automotive engineering? Why did it tolerate so much abuse? Today, let's open the hood of history and unravel the legend of the AP engines. The story of the AP begins with a confession. Volkswagen of Brazil was making mistakes. It was 1974, and the modern Passat, which was a success abroad, was equipped here with a Beetle engine. Yes, an air-cooled engine adapted, and the result was slow and disappointing. The solution came from the headquarters in Germany. The engine that would become the AP actually had a cold code, EA827. It was already used in European cars, like the first German Passat and the elegant Audi 80. It was a modern design engine with overhead camshaft and efficient liquid cooling. The decision was bold. Volkswagen of Brazil decided to discard the old engines and fully embrace the new family. They adapted the design to our climate, our roads, and especially to our fuel, gasoline, and later the controversial ethanol. That shit-eater foreign engine, robust and modern, would receive the name that would go down in Brazilian history, AP for High Performance, a promise that finally Volkswagen would deliver the power that Brazilians deserve. The AP began to make history in the spicier versions. The Voyage, for example, with the up engine, on the boost that allowed it to compete closely with the Chevette. But the public soon learned to differentiate the horsepower by name. Do you remember the rivalry? There were three main versions, each with its own charm. The AP 1600 was the brave entry level. The AP 1800, that was the engine of desire. Equipping the sporty GTS and the famous Santana, it was our racing engine of the 80s. It already delivered considerable power and torque that pushed. But the pinnacle, the revolution arrived in 1988 with the AP 2000. It wasn't just a bigger engine. It was inside the car that changed everything, the Gold GTI. This was the first national car to use the blessed electronic fuel injection. Remember, in 88, in most cars were carbureted, causing that sputter at startup and consuming a lot. The GTI, with its posh LEG-tronic injection, was instant, clean, and for the first time, delivered more than 100 horsepower reliably. It wasn't just a car, it was cutting-edge technology. The base and attackant, the power of the AP was fascinating, but what truly made it a legend was something else, its durability. It was a bulletproof engine that ran hundreds of thousands of kilometers without complaining. But why? The secret was in the over-engineering. The AP engine was designed for much more than Volkswagen demanded of it. The cast iron block had thick walls and all its internal parts were too robust for daily use. It was the factory superhero. This robustness had a bonus for us, the true Brazilian. If the engine had a problem, maintenance was simple. Any good neighborhood mechanic knew the AP like the back of their hand. There was no secret, no excessive electronics to break. It was just a matter of replacing the part and continuing the journey. Anyone who lived through the 80s and 90s has their own story of overcoming with the AP. The car that ran with oil almost expired. The one that went through a flood and started on the first try. The engine that had more than 500,000 kilometers and was still strong. We were sure if it was AP, it could handle it. The robustness of the AP was such that it became the favorite platform for those who really wanted power, the tuners. If you wanted to put a turbo in your car, the first and often only choice was the AP. It was a perfect combination. The strong block, the resistant crankshaft, and the engine architecture were ideal for handling the extra pressure from the turbo. A prepared AP could easily double or triple the original power, turning a Voyage into a true rocket. On the drag strips, the AP engine became the ultimate legend. If today we have cars with ultra-modern designs, it was the AP that paved the way for performance in Brazil, proving that a national car could be fast as long as it had the right DNA. Of course, over time, technology advanced. The AP engine, with its heavy and robust construction, was replaced by the EA827 family and later EA827, which are lighter and economical. Time passes for everyone. The AP engine may have gone out of production, but it will never leave the streets, the garages, and especially the tracks. It was the revolution Brazil needed, a bulletproof engine that became every young person's dream and the pride of a generation. It was not just an engine, it was the guarantee that you could step on it without fear. And that, my friends, is the true and indestructible legend of the AP engine. And you, what is your story with the AP engine? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more curiosities about our automotive history.